got that.
I'd like to call the order of the Board of Aldermen meeting for March 7th, 2022. May I have roll call, please? Here.
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 Here. Everybody join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The council report, February 18th, 2022 through March 3rd, 2022. And the Board of Aldermen meeting minutes, February 22nd, 2022.
I'll make a motion we accept the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. The next on the agenda is unfinished business. The fireworks request for proposal, continued discussion to finalize dates. Administrator Stolberg.
Yes, we're writing their RFP right now. And of course, the first date for 2022 would be July 1st. It's a Friday. The second date is June 30th, and it's a Friday. And then the last date, which is a Friday, would be, I think, June 28th in 2024. And so that kind of puts it back a bit. Discussion, the mayor and I have been discussing it, and we've brought it to several other people. The mayor had suggested for that last 2024 date, the possibility of having it July 5th, which is a Friday, but it's the day after the 4th of July. And so that's something that we thought we might want to discuss and come to an agreement to see what we wanted to do about that last 2024 date.
I will, before discussion goes any further, just make mention of the fact that after the last meeting and talking with members of the community and listening to feedback after the video was presented, I would like to rescind my motion and make a new motion to reflect the input from our community that they like the consistency of that last Saturday of June. So I make a motion that we leave our fireworks celebration on the last Saturday of June indefinitely at this time.
Second.
Did we already set the date with him? Or has it?
It hasn't been set in stone, no.
I don't like that Art's not here for this after voting last time. It was June 20th. I gotta ask for a roll call this time.
We can ask for discussion, you just got a motion, you have all the discussion.
Yeah, because Art was here for that last vote. Because we talked about getting it closer to the 4th of July. Now we have to go back in and change all of it.
I think if the RFP hasn't gone out, there
The
really shouldn't
RFP.
be a problem. And I feel like after having spoken with lots of people, they like the consistency of having it before the holiday so they can be in town. They're not traveling over the holiday. They make their plans for their family around that last Saturday in June being the kickoff of the 4th of July celebration. I like the fact that we're the first community in the area out of the gate with their 4th of July. So.
And I will argue the point as well that there are a lot of people that can't vacation because they can't afford a vacation, and they enjoy seeing the fireworks closer to the 4th of July. We're not in competition with Sullivan, and it's about Independence Day and not necessarily about June. I just want to make that point because not everyone, there's probably just as many people that would like to see it closer to the 4th than there would the week prior when it's always going to conflict with someone's schedule. But all in all, it's about Independence Day.
I know we do have, because I try to go to all of them. I love fireworks.
Me too.
There is the VFW on the 4th of July. There's several that are still on the 4th of July that are close that you can go to. And I've always liked the fact that we've been the first and had the big weekend, so.
So I wanted to speak to this as well. Administrator Stolberg and I had a discussion after last meeting that, I don't know if you guys remember, but a while back, I requested that we do not ask for a vote on something that was not previously on the agenda. And this was a prime example as to why. I ended up having multiple discussions, reaching out to people within my circle and out of my circle, asking them what their opinions were on fireworks. And I found the same response is not all, I'm not going to say all, but majority of the people wanted to keep it the way it was. And so I did not have time to do my due diligence in asking my community. And so as yes, it is about Independence Day, but I also want to do what our community, majority of our community wants to see. So from my research and time looking into this, I found the same thing as Alderman Sykes.
I just have a question. Did anybody talk to maybe get on the spectrum, because the Freedom Fest run is also usually the same day as the fireworks, which has always been the last Saturday. I don't care what day you guys make it, but we do already have signs and that made up for the last Saturday. So we will have to update the signs and change it, but Dr. Coleman was having that spectrum run at the same time as Freedom Fest in previous years, and everybody talking about.
Can't do it any others. You can't do it any other weekend. That's one of the reasons why this moved to this weekend. To begin with, because I've been involved in the chamber a long time, and we used to do fireworks, and before this turned over to the city, we moved it to the 20th, Saturday before, and brought it over to the chairperson, and that's the only Saturday we have available. And since he was chairman of the event, that's why the switch what it says. And that carried over when the switch was over, because he continued doing the bike ride, which he may or may not, it was dropped for a couple years before he went away.
Kimberly Miller,
So it won't make any difference as far as, I mean, he's going to be able to do it, because they got another event that they call it. So
I just know that it's always been consistent with that. So it was just a question to see if that was still.
You wanted to do?
But I'd like to start having it again. I think because, I don't know when it stopped, but like 2 or 3 years ago, and COVID didn't help anything, but now that that's behind us, hopefully we could start ramping it up again.
Events in general, I would like to see coming back.
Is there any other discussion? We could do a roll call.
Aye.
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 Okay, next on the agenda is new business. We have the spring cleanup. Administrator Stolberg, would you care to explain this item?
Our spring cleanup, it's an annual event. We have this one coming up will be April 27th. It's a Wednesday. And then the Thursday, April 28th. And then the following Saturday, April 30th. It'll be from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. At the maintenance shed, and the same guidelines as it has been before.
I didn't see on here. I know with the fall one, we did have maybe we can just double check to make sure that we're going to do the metal one again. That was the first time they did it, was the fall one.
Okay, and we are going to check and find out if that's a requirement for us to use the waste connections.
And have we, in the past, Administrator Stolberg, we had issues with our dumpsters filling up rather quickly within, like, let's say the first day. And so we would have to, I know we have that Friday between, which that was kind of our way to fix it. We would do Wednesday, Thursday, empty on Friday, opening back up on Saturday. Do we believe after the last one, my memory does not recall, do we think that that's going to be enough time on Saturday? Do you think that we'll stay open? In the past, we've had to close early on Saturday. I'm just thinking majority of people are going to come on Saturday because they're not working.
Right.
And it was a big bummer last time that we had to close early on a Saturday when most people were planning to come that day.
We can certainly check and find out if we can extend the hours on Saturday just for, people who weren't able to make it on Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday.
It usually comes down to the dumpsters fill up.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
not the
stuff's
hours.
filling up at the dumpsters.
Jason,
Dumpster space.
do you remember last year after we did that swap on Friday, if we had any issues? Because I can't remember either.
They were there till 3:30.
Okay.
They were open the entire time. Okay. It didn't fall, but we had larger dumpsters and more of them. So that's the same thing they're requesting
This time.
We have like 5 or 6 dumpsters Wednesday, Thursday, of the smaller 20, 30 yard variety, 20s and 30s. And then on Saturday, we take that number to 8, and I've asked them to send me all 30 yard dumpsters. 30 yard dumpsters are about 6 feet tall, and 40 yard are like 8 feet tall.
It's hard to get
So
stuff
the
in.
8 feet is too tall to get their stuff.
Okay.
But the 20 yard ones are 4 feet, and they fill up full bags. So I asked them to send me 8 30 yard dumpsters instead.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the 2022 past due business licenses.
As of today, there are still 25. There have been several that have since it was first reported that have actually paid their business licenses, but there are still 25 on the list as of today. So what I would like to do before we go to the city attorney and have him send out letters is I would like to call the businesses and just remind them. And if that doesn't work, then we'll go to more drastic measures.
I agree. I think that's a great idea.
Sherry, Jamie, you guys okay with that?
Yes, yes.
I was going to say post it. I was going to say post it so people can see who didn't pay, but he could call him first. That would be nicer.
We're going to kind of refrain from making public humiliation an option at this point, but
We can post a reminder.
Yeah.
Just maybe not names.
maybe we'll put it out on a bulletin board later, I don't know.
Next, Attorney Claus.
Nothing, Mayor.
Administrator Stolberg.
Okay. Well, there were two things. Oh, the City Hall roof. They are supposed to be having someone come by and evaluate the City Hall roof this week, so we will be able to get a more accurate idea of what we're looking at as far as whether replacement or repair is in order. And so we anticipate them to do the inspection this week, and sometime during the week of the 21st, March 21st, they'll give us their evaluation. The only other thing I have, since we've covered the other things, is we are trying to we need to fill our part-time seasonal help for the Parks Department. We have a lot of things coming up, and our Randy needs some help. So I would like to go ahead and put out an advertisement for that and see what we can come up with.
What did you say the part-time position, when would it start, do you know?
I would like to start it in the beginning of April, if I can. That'll give him time to get the person spun up before everything gets moving. And plus, there's a couple of things that we want to do. We want to get both Randy and the new person, the part-time person, trained on the splash park and how to do all the testing and everything like that. And Randy told me that Nick approached him and said because he works weekends a lot, he would like to also be a part of that training so he could save the city a little bit of money by doing it while he's doing his weekend stuff. He can do the testing and so on, and save some overtime for the city.
Fantastic.
I do know it was mentioned at one time at one of the chamber meetings that the school student council representative sometimes can help with kids that are looking for seasonal work. So there might be something, if we don't get applications in, to reach out to her at the school, find a senior that's looking for some work. They won't quite be done with school by April, but
Well, that was kind of what my thought process was, if it beginning of April. When I was in high school, and it wasn't that long ago, but when I was in high school, I had, I can't remember what it was called, but I only went to school in the morning and then I was off in the afternoon.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
okay.
right.
So, I was just thinking maybe if they still have that program and that's still an option, maybe one of those kids, they're looking for a job so they could take that class.
Entirely possible, yes.
Same person's in charge of both of those.
Both of those things. Okay, gotcha.
When I post it, I'll just send it out to the Board of Aldermen, so you can send it out to them.
Do we need to discuss this here? That was in the report, or no? Easter.
Okay. I didn't have that on mine. I don't know why.
I assumed it was your report. Okay. You don't have this?
No. I don't know why
I
didn't
thought
get
that
it.
was yours.
Yes.
It says you.
You know what? I did write that. That must have been the other one. Okay. So, I do have something else then. Easter is coming up, and someone brought to my attention that in the past we've had an Easter egg hunt at Evergreen Park that was free to the public and staffed with volunteers from the city and other civic organizations. Last year we had some pre-filled eggs. I guess they are pre-filled with candy and so on. And that cost about $426, and then the costume rental was $123.49. Oh, we own it? Okay, then never mind about the costume rental. It's ours. So the question is do we want to do this again? And if we do we want to schedule it at Evergreen or move it to Orchard Park? And lastly, we're looking for volunteers. I say with a smile on my face.
I helped Dana with that event last year, and I will say Evergreen was absolutely like the easiest place that we've ever done one. The areas are, I don't know, zones, whatever you call it, the different areas of that park made it really easy to put out eggs for all the different age divisions and move from one to the other very quickly. And I thought it went really well at Evergreen. There seemed to be plenty of parking for the people that we had. So, I mean, I'm more than willing to help I do know I was actually in a meeting this afternoon with the downtown district, and one of the workers or the business owners that I was there with made mention to me that she works for a distribution company that supplies a lot of party stores and things like that, and she would always be willing to help the city if we need it. So I might, if anyone doesn't mind, reach out to her and find out if she could help us with the cost of eggs. Just something to consider.
Dana?
My only question with that is, so from the distributor that we got from last year, they were able to give us eggs that were appropriate for age. Because of course I don't want something that them to open it and choke on it and, you know, something major happens. So like the manufacturer that I got the eggs from last year, they were able to give me different types of things by that. And if it's a distributor, I just wonder if they're gonna just give me whatever they have versus making sure that we're. That's my only concern, I just don't want somebody.
I mean, I could definitely ask that question. I don't know. She just said that she works in the marketing department for a distribution company that like fills or supplies the stores. So I would assume that pretty much anything that anybody else offers, they would probably have it in. And I don't know that that would end up being the cheapest, but it might be something to look into if she's willing to work with the city in that. I can ask and report back to the board or to this, yeah, so if y'all want me to, I can talk with her and then just give an update to Administrator Stolberg, if that would be better. Instead of waiting 2 weeks for the next meeting, that might be too long.
That would be fine with me.
Okay.
And we could also just set the limit on where we want to spend it as well, in case prices went up or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So we could go ahead and set that if you guys want to do that. I'm sure that if we're basing that from the cost of last year, do we know if that changed for this year? Or if that was based strictly off of last year's costs?
That's just last year's.
We won't have to rent a costume.
We will
so-
have to run a costume, right? So can we go up $125 or $150 from where it was at to?
So do you
So
want
can
to
we
just
make
leave
a
it,
motion?
leave it at 500 then?
Yeah,
That's what I was going to say.
or 550?
I'll make
Five
a
or
motion that we
550?
spend between $500 and $550 on pre-filled eggs for the Easter egg hunt
Second,
at Evergreen Park.
second.
Okay.
what is the date that
Yeah,
we're thinking?
Where we're putting that.
Did I just hear you make a motion?
I
Yes.
did make a motion,
5 to 550, you second it?
yes.
Sorry, did you want to roll call that before we talk about
And
anything
if we
else?
want to wait,
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
if we want to wait, I can amend that motion with a date, if we want to talk about a date. I mean, I would think because the Celebrate St. Clair banquet is the second, we don't want to compete with something else in town, even though that I know that's in the evening, maybe we should do it the 9th of April. Easter is the 17th.
Did check and there is an event on the 16th.
Yeah.
There is a Nation Street hunt in St. Clair. I checked on that one because they want
Yeah. So I'll amend my motion to include a date of April 9th, if no one has any objections.
Second again.
Sure.
Second.
May I have roll call, please?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
We'll figure that out later.
Okay. We also have we're waiting for the letter of engagement for Sikich to get back with us on the audit, so there's nothing to report on the audit at this point.
Mr. Ivy?
The only
you heard anything more from MoDOT about the overpasses, when that's coming?
I have not, I haven't heard, they haven't reported to, or, I know their tentative schedule, I think, usually we start. That was, those did roll in February, haven't heard.
Chief? Mr. Beeland is not here. Other business? Do any of the board members have anything? Alderman Foster asked about the Main Street update, so Administrator Stolberg and I walked around last time and want to do a little bit more digging. We're not going to do benches because there's plenty of benches on the other side of the street and we're full sun, so we didn't see the need to have benches there. Trash cans with as many spread out because we'd like to try to put one down towards Belmont's and then further up maybe by Abilities and at the corner closer to Agape a little bit. So if we did that, we're looking at roughly 10 of them. And we're going to see if we can repurpose the ones we have. And if we do, we would only need 3, and we can put those off the main strip since they, more than likely, they will not look the same. So we're going to talk with Mr. Hausman on that yet. Flower pots, we're looking at 19. We have 4. We need 15 more of them. And need to speak with the wishing well to make sure their prices didn't change. It'd be 200, and then you have the plants and soil as well. So those would be roughly 275.
That's not the hanging pots.
No,
That's the big
they're
pots.
it'll be the
big
big flower
okay.
pots that
Yeah.
we have 4 of already. Also pulling an evergreen shrub next to the caboose and getting the caboose repainted. The grass inside the fence around the caboose, maybe killing that off and having rocks so it looks a lot nicer. The gazebo needs a little bit of work done to it, power wash and stain, and replace a few shingles and check the electric on top of it. And the monument, quote, our headstone. Mr. Stolberg and I went around to a couple places and looked, and we were looking at evergreen. There's right at the entrance, there are 2 tree stumps there right now, and it'd be a perfect spot right there in the middle for that. And we have had someone say that they would volunteer to form that new base for us. So I'd like to double check with that to make so it's still existent. And I think we have someone that's also volunteered to move that for us. So that's...
At no cost?
That's why I want to double check, but yeah, that's my understanding because they offered to move the veteran statue as well. And then we had an anonymous donation for the Main Street project of $1,000. They did not want to be named and to be put towards any of that. But that's where we're at on the Main Street project. Because I wanted to touch base since you had
Yes,
asked
thank you.
last time. And that's all I have.
I do
for-
think in regards to that, just, I'd like to mention from my perspective that I think we need to, with that $1,000 donation, that's going to help, but a lot of these items seem like they could add up really quickly, and obviously this expense would come out of our park fund, which was one of the smallest that we have. So I think we also need to just keep an eye on that and make sure that, I mean, we're really early in the season. We don't know what's going to come up, and spending a substantial amount of our park budget on these items, you know, we might need to space it out a little bit or buy it in phases. You know, that's just my opinion, so.
We're not digging into the park fund. Where the basket banner program was in place, we will go to the city to look for sponsorships, where we could put small brass plaques up on the gazebo saying anyone that helped to sponsor the Main Street project have that. So we're going to lean to the public to see about sponsorships there. And that 1,000 would go towards whether it be shrubbery up on the hillside, on that berm between the railroad track back, whether go towards that or the gazebo, which I'm going to reach out to the Clack since they donated the gazebo before. I'm going to reach them to see if they want to help refurbish it. So then maybe that 1,000 could go towards whether it's 3 more trash cans or painting the caboose or the minor other things like that. But hopefully we're going to the community with these kind of projects and not have to use park funds. If we do, then some things will get put on delay a
Right.
little bit.
I think it would be helpful, at least for me, I'd like to see if we could somehow keep track of when those donations come in for the Main Street project, if possibly we could create, I don't know, a new line item in the budget or something like that, so we can just track when the donations come in and what that budget is, and so then when we go to make decisions about what we want to spend money on, then we can see where that budget sits. Might be helpful. Right, for the city, for the city beautification, but that money comes from different locations, and I was saying, like, just specifically the donations that come in for the Main Street project, some way to be able to see how much is brought in for that Main Street project. Does that make sense?
We could just,
Or
we
just-
could put a subcategory under our donations as, for the Main Street project or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I understanding that those of us that sponsor, I'm speaking on behalf of the chamber because we have 3 sponsorships, we won't be given the opportunity to sponsor because it's just $25 more. We'll be able to sponsor flower pots.
Yeah, we need to figure out how we're going to, we need to hash out some details, but we should go to our banner sponsors first, but there are more banners than there will be like flower pots and things like that. So we have to look at that so we're not leaving anybody out. And
So you'll be doing banners and
we would like to still carry the banner program, do the banners. We were just discussing this today. Instead of doing the grommets, we need to take the eye bolt loose to where they slip on, so that'll make the banners slightly larger, and we won't have to put grommets in them, but we need to look at that, the cost of the banner. So we've got a few little things to iron out, but we'll most definitely, come back to those people first.
I just have a suggestion. I know that the banners that were printed, they didn't fade, and you all didn't have to reprint them. And I get stuff every single week about those that are professionally done. And I personally think you really need to look at that so they look professional, especially since you're not going to cuts, any baskets, because people are going to miss those paint baskets. So if you really made your banners a statement, you're going to make up for that.
We had discussed even like I guess there's more like not a nylon, but a woven that the
Right.
city used to have a long time ago, and those hold up a lot better, and they're the same all the way through. So we've got a few details we've got to hash out and get some pricing on those, so we can do the whole program together.
R&R, that class, they use some real nice ones on their own. And that might be a resource. It's actually
Charlene, because I wasn't quite following, you said the chamber had 3 sponsorships. Are you talking about sponsors through the banner program? Are those the sponsors that you were talking about? Okay,
The banner farm program was one of mine.
I see.
People get sponsored.
Okay,
These other companies.
right, okay, thank you.
Does anyone from the audience have anything that they would like to approach the board with this evening?
Kim Harler, 655 South Main. Dana, I was going to ask you, with the Easter eggs, I'm just throwing this out here, do you know how many you ordered last year?
It was 1,000
And
per
age group, okay. So this is what my suggestion is, and I don't know if 550 will even cover it. I know every week when I go to the grocery store, it goes up and up. I'm thinking with the inflation that we're having, I don't know if 550 is going to cover all that. We might want to think about, and if 550 does cover it, that's fine. But she might need to get prices on that, bids on that, because it might have went up a lot. That's just what I was thinking back there, only because I just went to the grocery store today and didn't hardly buy anything, and it was $99, so. You know, and I'm
Right.
just thinking every time I go,
Right.
it seems like
It
it's
goes up
more
higher
and
and
more
higher,
and
yeah.
more. And so we might want to increase it, but if she doesn't spend it, then that's just a win. That's just my opinion.
Thank you. I'm a little concerned about that too, so what if it goes over 550, we need to switch that?
Would
If
be
it went
better-
over 550,
Yes.
okay, would
Bless
it
you.
be,
I'm sure that I
Could
can
you-
pull a couple business sponsors out of there for you guys.
Yeah.
I'll get
Okay.
it covered. I promise.
okay, so we can leave it for us, no more than 550.
I would take that.
Do you feel comfortable with that? Okay. We still need to do executive.
Yes.
We'll need motion to close.
You want to go in executive session?
Yeah.
If I'm done with the public, then yeah, motion to
Oh, I just wanted to give a shout out. Chief, I hadn't had a moment to tell you this, but my family was in the Mexican restaurant the other day, and some of your officers were there. And forgive me, I don't remember their names. But my little girl, she always insists on thanking officers, anybody that's in uniform. And when she did so, they did not just smile and say thanks